any kind of organization in that respect. Secondly, we do not have a leader. The leader are the people. This is a big difference between any and most of the other organizations I've ever come across. Anybody who says that we are affiliated or has a website that says it's us and it's not freedomreigns.us, then it is not us. Now, whether it's bogus and they're trying to sell widgets or they want the attention or whatever the deal is, I don't know. I'm not interested.
Right.
They actually have a couple of websites out there that say it's me.
Mm-hmm. Basically, Drake, I think basically the best way I have heard it stated is notification was given basically saying, we're not playing no more. Y'all can take this job and shove it. We're done.
Exactly.
And that is the best way that I have heard it said. But yeah, we have another question that came to me via Skype. Is this in any way part of Bob Schultz's group, and is he involved?
Okay, unequivocally and absolutely no. We are not affiliated with, attached to, nor do we have any joining of any kind with anything other than the action itself. Anything outside of the action itself has nothing to do with us. This includes any group that says that they are affiliated directly. Mm-hmm. Now, we are looking at affiliating with the Indian nations for a variety of reasons. Number one, what we did to them as one race, white man to red man, if you want to look at it that way, European to Indian or whatever. I personally, when I started actually getting into the records and finding out what went on, it turned my stomach. I did not know that anybody that I could think of would act like that. Mm-hmm. Now, since getting involved in this quite a few years ago, I've identified some people that would act that way and enjoy it. These are the people that we're coming after. Now, there's no direct affiliation with anybody. I do converse on varying levels with different people, and I do have contacts through the website that I answer questions to, and that's basically it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Another big, huge, I know you kind of addressed this, but this is another huge, huge thing. There's a lot of questions in the background, not per se right this moment, but from doing past broadcasts and that this sounds very similar to that of the Tim Turner Rap Rusa agenda. And I'm going to let you address that.
Well, it's very simple. The difference is that we stand alone individually, first of all. Secondly, we do not have a leader. And thirdly, we disassociate from any and all groups, to include agencies, etc. Now, one of the problems I've noticed with these groups that are not kosher is that they have the intention to, first of all, replace the standing government as it is, for one, and that goes against the freedom of the people. And number two, to call in the UN and have them take over. Now, anybody that has a computer and has pretty much any common sense can do a simple check, and this is what it is. Go to the UN website, read their charter, read about Agenda 21 and other things that will thoroughly discourage you from wanting to have anything to do with them. Part of the plan is to remove the people from that building and shove it off in the water and see if it will float. Mm-hmm. That's basically what people think of the United Nations. Now, the United Nations, as it should have been originally, is going to be reinstituted or reinitialized in terms of an agreement that is being worked on as we speak, where different countries augment each other. A rich country can afford to give a little bit of wealth, so can some others, and some poor country that has some serious problem, and I'll give you an example of the earthquake in Haiti as an example.
Okay.
If the world had taken 1% of each of the wealth that they didn't need and applied it to Haiti, Haiti would be a thriving place, no problems, no dirt, no problem. No, you wouldn't be able to tell anything happened. However, due to the greed of the bankers, and I'm not going to be nice about this, specifically the relief efforts and those people involved in those relief efforts, they have personally gotten wealthy through donations that never reached the people. Now, when you get to outright theft, that's about as blatant as it gets. When you got starving people that are hurt, and you don't bother buying bandages or feeding them, when you do have the money, you want to put it in your pocket. To me, that's a bit much.
Right.
And like I said, those are the people that the efforts are going after.
Right. There's another question, Drake, that came from the chat room. It says, who decides who the bad guys are, and what is the criteria that deems one as quote-unquote bad? And then there's another one that says, and what will happen to all the odious debt out there?
Okay, the combination is this. A bad guy is a part of or facilitating what is called the financial realm of control that ultimately leads to the New World Order. Everybody loves that little phrase. The New World Order contains within it a population reduction, among other things, by any means possible. Whether they decide to set troops up and shoot at everybody or what is, it varies. They thought of using nukes, and they sort of, let's use conventional. Now, I'm talking about against unarmed civilians, something similar to what is transpiring in Syria. They are attacking a city, and not everybody in there is a rebel. But they're just blowing it to kingdom come just because they have the power to do so. Okay, think about that on a global scale, and you have Agenda 21 population reduction to include diseases and anything else. So that's basically where this is at in terms of determining a bad guy. Someone who has gone illegally and acquired monies from accounts that are not theirs, that belong to the people who have helped in that, committed murders to facilitate it, etc. The crimes are extreme in terms of the nature and quality of them. Now, as far as debt goes, the debt, and Iceland, you can look in the news, Iceland's a good example of this. They told the central banking system to stick it, that their debt was fraudulent, and it worked.
Right.
Second thing they did recently was they removed all of the mortgages, because those are also fraudulent. And that also applies here, everywhere. This is the change, as I said, is going to be extreme and extraordinary. You're not going to believe what's coming, and it's nice. Believe me, all of it is really cool.
Right.
Okay.
This is really an exciting time. It really is, and just there's so much happening. But I do see that we are at the top of the hour, and Dave, I do believe we need to go to break. Is that correct?
We're going to take a little break here on the United We Win weekend. We're going to play something called A Horse with No Name, because I think that's very appropriate. Welcome back, my beloved brothers and sisters all around this fragile but beautiful, but oh so corrupt world. This is the United We Win Marathon weekend on Wolf Spirit Radio, United We Strike Radio, and who knows how many other stations are carrying us. Anyways, the co-host for this hour is Deatra and Drake, with my co-host Tom and Bill Wood. And we have several questions that we have from the chat room. We're going to take those right after Bill says what he has to say. Go ahead, Bill.
Okay, thanks, Dave. And Deatra and Drake, thanks for having me on. I know we've spoken a lot privately, but it's good to have everybody on the same radio show today. For everybody that's listening, I just wanted to remind everybody that the Wolf Spirit radio listeners and people that listen to my interviews on Project Camelot, it's not a coincidence that Drake is putting out the exact same information, because it's real, it's tangible. In my Project Camelot interviews, I talked about mass arrests and how the military and other government agencies, Secret Service, federal marshals, FBI, the people that took an oath to protect this country against all enemies, foreign and domestic, they're the ones that are seeing what's really going on in the world and in government. And they're the ones that want change more than anything. I guarantee there's hundreds of thousands of soldiers and sailors out there that are seeing the real effects of what the U.S. military does in the Middle East and throughout the world, and they don't want to be the people creating terror. They want to be the ones making change. And so the way to go about that is to enable them to uphold their oaths. What Drake has been talking about is that means to give them the legal authority to start arresting the real criminals in all this, to go after the people that would do anything to continue to perpetuate war and corporate spending and the military-industrial complex and the financial industry to hold on to the power that they have. What's happening now today is the last desperate gasps of that power trying to hold on and cling to the authority that they have. And it's getting to the end of the game. I talked about it in late January and early February about Checkmate. And this game was being played out. And soon everybody would identify that it is coming to an end, and the good guys are going to win, and that this battle that we've been left to believe is being perpetuated, both sides of the battle are working together to perpetuate the war. All we're talking about doing is ending the fighting. And that's the way it's going right now. The people that want to continue to make things confrontational and the need for fear to enable them to continue this perpetual war and perpetual internment of the world is going away. And I would encourage everybody that's listening right now to use your own discernment. Don't listen to people that try to dictate what your opinion should be. And certainly walk away from anybody who is trying to enable fear. Because right now there's nothing to be afraid of. If you talk to me or Drake, we're excited. We're happy. We can see the light at the end of the tunnel, and it is coming fast, and all we're trying to do is to get everybody to realize that that's what's really going on. We don't need to be afraid of the military. We don't need to buy into the fear porn that's coming on the internet saying, martial law is moments away, because
right.
If you see the military, they're doing their jobs. I guarantee it.
Let me interrupt you. I've actually had a question for you to address this Steve Quayle fear-mongering video that or YouTube that went out.
Yep.
Telling everybody to take arms against our military, and it's like, oh my gosh, I'm already sick of it, and I only got the silly link yesterday.
Yeah, I've been under the Steve Quayle attack too, and I'd like to point out to everybody that he made a prediction. I think it was for March 21st. That there would be this, huge thing that happens, an end of days scenario, and he's had many